Day, everyone. I am Janica Loro,
I am Gal A. Insik.
I am Syra Marinamigo.
and we are going to present to you the Darwinian Revolution. And we are the group.
3.
At the end of our discussion, the listeners were able to justify the theories of Charles Darwin, know what is biological evolution and the natural selection, and also examine the different concepts. What is Darwinian revolution? In 1859, there was a groundbreaking revolution in both scientific and religious realms. The Origin of Species, authored by Charles Darwin. The book changed how people approach biological forever and has fundamental impacts on modern science, religion, and other aspects of the society. Who is Charles Darwin? Charles Robert Darwin is born on February 12, 1809 at Shrewsbury, Shropshire, England. Died on April 19, 1882 in Down, Kent. English naturalist whose scientific theory of evolution by natural selection became the foundation of modern evolutionary studies. He shocked religious Victorian society by just suggesting that animals and humans shared a common ancestry. His non-religious biology appealed to the rising class of professional scientists, and by the time of his death, evolutionary imagery had spread through all of science, literature, and politics. What is revolution? According to Merriam Dictionary, it is a sudden, radical, or complete change, a fundamental and relatively sudden change in political power and political organization which occurs when the population revolts against the government, typically due to perceived oppression.
Darwin and the Voyage of the Beagle. Charles Darwin gained a lot of fame and respect with his publication of his journal and remarks in 1839, The Voyage of the Beagle. The Galapagos Islands, where Darwin made a lot of crucial observations while he was in the Beagle, which assisted him in developing his theory of evolution. After collecting samples for 5 years all over the world, Darwin went back to England to analyze them. The biological evolution. Biological means relating to biology of living organisms. Evolution. Evolution is a descent with modification that the ideal species change over time gives rise to a new species and share with common ancestor. So, biological evolution is a change in the properties of groups of organisms over the course of generations. It embraces everything from slight changes in the proportion of different forms of a gene. Natural selection. Natural selection is a process through population of living organisms adapt and change. Individuals in a population are naturally variable, meaning that they are different in some ways. The variation means that the individuals have traits better suited to the environment than others. Natural selection can lead to speciation, where one species gives rise to a new and distinctly different species. It is one of the processes that drives evolution and help to explain diversity of all life on the earth.
Darwin's concept of natural selection was based on several key observations. First is that traits are often heritable. In living organisms, many characteristics are inherited, are passed from parent to offspring. Darwin knew that this was the case, even though he did not know that traits were inherited via genes. Second is that more offspring are produced that can survive. Organisms are capable of producing more offspring than their environment can support. Thus, there is a competition of limited resources in each generation. Third is that offspring vary in their heritable traits. The offspring in any generation will be slightly different from one another in their traits, color, size, shape, and etc. And many of these features will be heritable. Based on those key observations, Darwin concluded the following. First, in a population, some individuals will have inherited traits that help them survive and reproduce. Second, because the helpful traits are heritable and because organisms with these traits leave more offspring, the traits will tend to become more common in the next generation. Third is that over generations, the population will become adaptive in its environment. Descent of man. However, this should not conceal Darwin's great interest in the topic, a matter of which he turned in his Descent of Man, where he made very clear the natural processes leading to Homo sapiens, dwelling at a length in the special role of the secondary mechanism of sexual selection. In Descent, Darwin makes it very clear that he thinks human thinking and actions, especially in the moral realm, have an evolutionary origin just as much as our physical nature. Darwin versus the Church. According to Darwin, humans are actually descendants of apes. But according to church, God was the creator of life and that we are made in his image. But Darwin said that evolution in both humans and other organisms has been proven. But the church said that God created the earth and all inhabitants of it. Darwin focuses on evolution while the church focuses on creation. Is the impact of the Iranian Revolution to the society. First is that it changed the general thinking of the world while unlocking the truth behind both earth and the life. Second, it allowed us to gain a better understanding of our world, which in turn allowed us to change the way that we think. Third, his teachings on the power of natural selection and mutations. Lastly, it is not the greatest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change, according to Charles Darwin. Thank you for listening.